This is a true story that will make your jaw drop. A mother who gave birth to 3 children and didn't get to raise even one of them. The story begins, very rich couples married for years with no children. They visited many hospitals and tried different treatments, but nothing worked. The couple, Omar and Maria, were respected in their community and lived in a beautiful palace-like home. They discussed many times that they should take an orphan child and raise them up as theirs, after many days of thinking. One day, after a long discussion, they agreed that Omar should marry a young girl to have children and continue the family lineage. Since Omar was already in his 50s, it was difficult to find a wife from a rich family. So they looked for a girl from a poor background, someone who might accept the proposal for the sake of her family. Eventually, Omar proposed to Sarah, a 15-year-old girl who lived with her father and brother. Her mother had passed away a long time ago. Her father approached her and said, "My daughter, someone has come to propose to you. He is 50 years old and he already has a wife, but he's very rich. He promised to take us out of this life of poverty." At first, Sarah refused. "I'm still young," she said, "and I'm scared to marry someone so much older and who already has a wife." But her father insisted. Out of pressure and fear of disappointing her father, Sarah eventually agreed. Deep down, she knew that even if she refused, her father and brother had already accepted the proposal. Sarah got married and was taken to the palace. But when she arrived, she was placed in a small house next to the big palace. Her new home had only one room, a kitchen, and a small bathroom. She was alone all day and rarely allowed to step outside. Her daily life became routine, cooking, cleaning, and waiting for her husband. She never met the first wife, even though they shared the same compound entrance. A few months later, Sarah became pregnant. She was happy, thinking the baby would bring her joy and company in her lonely home. She gave birth to a baby boy named Dave. The day after returning from the hospital, Omar said he wanted to show the baby to Maria, his first wife. Sarah felt uneasy, but stayed quiet. Omar left with the baby and didn't return that day. That night, he came home, without the child. "Where's the baby?" Sarah asked, her voice shaking. "He's with Maria," Omar replied. "Let him sleep there. I'll bring him back tomorrow." But the next day, he didn't bring Dave. When Sarah asked again, Omar said, "Don't worry. Let him stay with her for a few days." Sarah cried that night, but being young and afraid of her husband, she tried to be patient. Days turned into weeks. Whenever she asked, Omar would respond with guilt-tripping words. "Don't you trust me? Maria never had children. She's taking care of your son like her own." Sometimes Sarah would sneak near the big house just to hear her baby cry. Some days she could hear him. Other days it was silent. It tore her apart. A year later, Sarah became pregnant again. She was hopeful that this baby would stay with her, that he would fill the emptiness left behind by Dave. She gave birth to her second son and named him Nasser. Again, Omar was happy. And again, he took the baby the next day to show to Maria. And just like before, the baby never returned. Sarah cried, pleaded, but no one listened. When she went to her father and brother, they scolded her for complaining. "Why are you worrying?" they would say. "Your kids are safe. They're just with their father." Sarah was not even allowed to go near the big house to see her children. A year and a half later, Sarah got pregnant again. This time, she warned Omar, "I'm telling you now, do not take this baby from me." Omar promised, "This one will stay with you, and when the other 2 grow older, I'll bring them back to you." Sarah gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Jumana. This child came at a time when Sarah's heart was shattered, so she poured all her love into her. To her surprise, Omar kept his word. He never took Jumana to Maria. Weeks passed, then months. Sarah finally allowed herself to feel a little peace. One day, Jumana had a hospital appointment. Omar said, "Don't worry, I'll take her. You stay home and prepare lunch." Sarah was alarmed. "Please don't take her to your other wife." Omar grew angry. "So you don't trust me as her father?" Sarah stayed quiet, then softly replied, "I trust you, But you know what happened to my sons. Omar left with Jumana. Hours passed. The entire day went by. He didn't return. That night, Sarah saw his car parked outside. He was back, but without her daughter. Tears streamed down her face. She cried the entire night. The next day, she asked where Jumana was. Omar replied, "She's with her brothers." Let them be together for a few days. Sarah was devastated. "This is the child I raised with my own hands. I fed her, I held her for 6 months. She cried for nights. She knew now, without doubt, that she was just being used, a mother to give children that she would never be allowed to keep. That morning, Sarah went to the police. It wasn't her first time, but every time she did, Omar would speak so calmly and respectfully that the police would take his side. "She lives in the same compound," he would say. "I don't know why she doesn't want my other wife to help with the kids." To outsiders, Sarah seemed controlling and jealous. Eventually, she ran away to stay with extended family and told them everything. They supported her and helped her file for divorce. Sarah knew that if she got the divorce, she could go to court and fight for custody of her 3 children. She confronted Omar. "I want my children, or I want a divorce." Omar said coldly, "Then I will divorce you. I only married you for children." The divorce process took time. While it was ongoing, Sarah would sit alone at night, listening to poetry, crying for hours. One particular poem touched her heart deeply. She decided to contact this very famous poet and share her story. She asked him, "Please write a poem about my life. Let it be a lesson." The poet listened to her story and wrote a powerful poem that is still recorded in some Arabic poetry books today. Sarah would always carry a copy of it in her bag. A few months after the poem was published, Sarah died in a car accident. Unfortunately, Sarah never saw her children again in her entire life. This is the end of this sad, true story. Let us learn from it. Being poor should never be a reason to give your daughter to someone in marriage. Never believe that someone else will make you rich. Sometimes the simple life you have is better than the luxurious one you dream about. Seek richness of the heart, not richness of the pocket. A heart full of mercy, dignity, and love is more precious than gold. Remember, not every palace brings peace, and not every poor home is without it. If wealth guaranteed happiness, the rich wouldn't divorce, and if poverty guaranteed misery, the poor wouldn't laugh. Choose wisely. Stories like this deserve to be heard. Share, like, and stay with us.